Hello and welcome back to the Entertainment Vortex. Today we are at Brendan Theaters watching Spider-Man Far From Home. I have managed to avoid the trailer for this thing like the plague, so I went in completely blind, and that was the way that I wanted to experience this film. And I actually have now gone back and seen the trailer, and I will say it's an interestingly shot trailer, and it does a lot of things to shirk your expectations one way or the other, but the movie is its own thing. I feel like this is a perfect movie to kind of jump away from some of the heavy-hitting things of Endgame and kind of wrap up this phase of the Marvel Universe with an interesting bow and kind of point us in the right direction as to where we're headed. Typically, we start off with positives. I want to start off with the one real negative that I had with this movie personally. The first, I'd say third, kind of drags on a little bit. It has a lot of really cool moments, and there's a lot of great humor and setups for things that happen later down the line during that time frame, but it does fall into a few pitfalls as far as the pace going kind of back and forth from being really slow to kind of speeding up for a second and then going really slow again. Most Marvel movies don't go that slowly. Like I said, it's a little bit of a shake-up, and I don't know how well it works, but it wasn't a super huge detractor for me. And I feel like once it really started to ramp up, once you get into that second, third to middle territory, it takes off into some crazy different directions, and I was in love at that point. There are some really great effects that are done in this film. Some of the effects work looked a little off, but I think some of that is also kind of fueling the story a little bit as well. It's tough to say without jumping too far into like the spoiler territory, and yeah, as you know, we are a spoiler-free zone, so you don't have to worry about any of that. But as far as the acting performances go, everybody who was in the original cast and the new cast are all doing a really great job. I felt like Jake Gyllenhaal brought a different light to this type of a role, and I felt like he was able to move between the nuances of this character in a way that I found enjoyable and I was able to follow along with, and I had a good time with that. But the big star of this is obviously Spider-Man. Tom Holland continues to kill it as Peter Parker, and I feel like he's getting a little bit more comfortable with like that quippy kind of territory when he's got the mask on, and when he's got the mask off, he's able to go into these really emotional moments, and he's able to basically elicit the emotions from the audience, which is what you're looking for in a movie that's supposed to kind of wrap up a little bit of an era of this entire franchise. Like I said, there were moments where I was cheering, there were moments where I was laughing my you-know-what off, and there were moments that had me in tears. And I felt like that was what they wanted to portray with this movie. They wanted something that kind of ran the gamut, and I thoroughly happy that I waited. I didn't watch the trailer. I kept myself very patient, and I was rewarded with a great film in my opinion. It's not perfect. Like I said, there are definitely some things that I would have changed in that first third, but I loved the way that the actors bantered with each other, and they had that good like Marvel type of humor that's able to kind of flow in between, you know, scenes of action and scenes of kind of like lighter moments. Like I said, I thoroughly enjoyed that. The score pretty much stays relatively similar to Spider-Man Homecoming, and that's not a problem. Like I said, they take a few things from some of the older versions of like the music from like Spider-Man from like the television series, and from some of the older movies as well. They take a few nods from Elfman's score from the original trilogy, and I felt like that was really well done. So with any Marvel movie, you know that once the credits start to roll, the movie's not really over, and that there's something that's left. And in this particular instance, I believe there are only 2 after credit scenes, but they are bangers. There's none of the comedy moments that you expect. I mean, it does have some comedic qualities to it, but it does not have that one that's played strictly for comedy and one that's played to be like, here's the next thing we're doing. Everything is a revelation in this. So make sure, no matter what, that you do not leave until that screen is completely black and done. There are important things that you will need to see if you're going to get any hype or excitement for the next thing that they're going to do. At this point, we don't know what that is yet. We're waiting to see what the next thing on the docket is, and I am thoroughly excited. I am perfectly peaked for it. I am ready to go. This movie wasn't perfect, but it was very, very excellent. I will see this multiple times in theaters by the end of this week, and I would give this a 9.5 out of 10. Like I said, not perfect, but it's still got that really good Marvel feel. I feel like the acting performances stood up, and I am ready for the next thing that they throw at me.
If you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe to this channel. We give you multiple videos every single week. And we have t-shirts available if you're interested in those as well. Those are available down in the description below. We hope you'll follow us into the Vortex. We'll see you next time.